All right, today's lesson is about midpoint, and I found this little graphic at mathbits.com. Thought it was pretty cute. One, I love Dalmatians. Dalmatians are probably my favorite pet. And it says, I'll meet you halfway. So there's the kitty cat, and they're going to meet at this red point, which is called the midpoint. So officially, the midpoint is the point in the middle of two endpoints. The fact that it states two endpoints means we kind of have to have a segment in order to find the middle. Otherwise, if we have a line, there is no middle. It goes on forever and ever and ever. So there would be no way for us to find the middle. So it does indicate that it has to be a segment in order to find the midpoint. So the midpoint is the average of the coordinates. So what you can see here is like we're adding x1 and x2. We have 2 points. We're going to divide them by 2. And then we have 2 y coordinates, y1 and y2. And we're going to add those up and divide by 2. And that's an average. If we're finding the middle, that's how we're going to find the location of that point. And if you think about it like you're calculating your grades, to get the average, we add up the number of grades you have, and then we divide by the number there are. So in this case, we only have 2 points. We have one endpoint 1 and endpoint 2, and those are our 2 data. So we're going to add those coordinates and divide by 2. Okay, so for our example, and again, we always want to label our points. So we're going to label -2. Oops. We're going to label -2, x1. 2 is going to be y1. 3 is going to be x2. And 5 is going to be y2. Okay, so now we're going to come back and then we're going to perform the midpoint formula. So we're going to take x1, which is -2, and we're going to add that to x2, which is 3, and then we're going to divide that by 2. And then we're going to take y1, which is 2, plus y2, which is 5, and then we're going to divide that by 2. And then from here, we're just going to simplify. So we get -1 plus 3, -2 plus 3 is 1, and that's going to be out of 2. 2 plus 5 is 7 out of 2. Now, I can leave this here. This is the fractional answer. Or if you're not comfortable with fractions, you can divide them out. 1/2 is 0.5, and 7/2 is 3.5. And here we have the decimal representation. And either one is acceptable. Okay. Then we have, so our midpoint is at 1/2, 7/2, or 0.5, 3.5. So that would be right smack dab in the middle of that point. Okay, so example 2, we want to label the points. So 5 is x1, -4 is y1, 2 is x2, -8 is y2. And then we're going to come back and do our midpoint formula. So I'm going to take x1, which is 5, plus x2, which is 2, and divide it by 2. Then I'm going to take y1, which is -4, plus y2, which is -8, and divide by 2. And again, I'm going to simplify. 5 plus 2 is 7, so 7 over 2. -4 plus -8 is -12 over 2. And I do need to simplify that further. The 7/2 doesn't simplify, so I can leave that 7/2. But -12 divided by 2 is -6. So this would be the fractional piece, or that's a cursive R, but I'll make it a script R. I can change the 7/2 to 3.5. The decimal representation, the -6 would stay -6. Okay, so that concludes our midpoint lesson.